Oh, perfect. Okay. All right. Number two. Take two. Number two. Like flush it. Two, three, two, one. Mac Engel Angle Podcast. Thanks very much for joining me because right now it is football season. Time to drink, tailgate, blow off your family, and lose a lot of money gambling, maybe even legally. Here today to talk a little bit about the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, and dispelling the misnomer that they suck. They don't. The Dallas Cowboys don't suck, which might be their problem. They're actually pretty good. They are. They're not really good, but they're pretty good. I've covered this team for a long time. I've watched them for too long. And since 2005, that was Bill Parcells' third season here as head coach. The Cowboys have consistently played relevant games all the way to the final week of the regular season since that third season. They didn't always get into the playoffs, but the regular season consistently, with limited exception, they've played relevant games. And in that time, at times, they've been the best team in the NFL. You can make a case for a window of time in 2006. They were the best team in the NFL in Bill Parcells' final season. Certainly, you can make the case in Wade Phillips' first season with the team in 2007. They were the best team at varying points. That is probably still the biggest blown opportunity of any Cowboys team this century. At other points, specifically Wade's second to last season, they were playing the best football in the NFL. His successor, Jason Garrett, there were times under Jason Garrett, they were the best team in the NFL. And under Mike McCarthy, the current head coach, at times, the Cowboys have been the best team in the NFL. It's been September, October, anytime other than January, which is ultimately this team's problem. The playoff record stinks. They get to the playoffs, and yet magically, despite all of these relevant teams and good teams, and then sometimes even the best teams in the NFL, you would think at some point they would fall bass backwards and just fall into an NFC conference championship game. The Bengals did it. The Lions did it last season. Every team has done it in that time, but a few. But the Cowboys, every team. They've had a shot at getting to the Super Bowl, but the Cowboys, like I said, the Bengals did it twice in that time. And here's part of the problem and part of their solution. And this is the part that's going to drive you crazy. They're going to give their quarterback a monster contract extension. It wouldn't surprise me if they announce a contract 5 minutes before kickoff on Thursday night for the regular season opener in Kansas City. That would be just like Jerry Jones and the Cowboys to do that. Depending on who you believe, the two sides are talking about a contract extension, but are apart on years or money or whatever else. He's going to get a monster number. It's just a question of whether or not it's from the Cowboys or someplace else. Because at this point, what he could do is tell his agents and his team, let's write it out, let's become a free agent, and let's see what I can get. And it will be a cap-crushing, disgusting, live golf type of contract. There's going to be a desperate team out there that will bury him in money. Bury him in money. To the point where he can't even breathe. Could be the Giants. They can't love Daniel Jones that much. Could be the Jets. Who knows what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers? Raiders? Yeah, sure. Why not? Name a team, and it's possible. Now, clearly the Cowboys are the leader in the clubhouse, and this is why ultimately I think they will give him an extension. And I get it. Cowboys fans are mad. They're tired of him because of that playoff record. 2-5 in the playoffs ain't pretty. It's ugly. I was at all of them but one, and I watched that one, and it's not good. That playoff performance back in January at AT&T Stadium against Green Bay was garbage. Hot, wet, disgusting garbage. And this is ultimately why the Cowboys are going to look past that and give that guy a bunch of money, and he's going to be here for a few more years before he retires. Because And I want to back this up real quick. This is not a case for or against. This is a case of why they're going to do it. This is a little history lesson, okay? Follow the bouncing ball. Because the scars that this team experienced from 2000 to 2004 through 2004 are so deep and so eternal that Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and everybody who was there then and is still with the team now can't forget it. Troy Aikman retired after the 1999 season. And when Troy retired, it created a hole that Jerry Jones could not possibly fathom he was going to have to navigate. Troy had only really been his quarterback when he bought the team. And Troy led this team to 3 Super Bowls and is the second best quarterback in the history of this franchise behind only Roger Staubach. No offense to Tony Romo. Troy was the guy. And Troy spoiled everybody in the 90s with his professionalism and his precision and proficiency as a passer. But he retired because he's tired of losing. So then, this is who the Cowboys ran through. Quincy Carter, Chad Hutchinson, Vinny Testaverde, Anthony Wright, Ryan Leaf, Clint Sterner, Drew Henson. The guy with the best winning percentage in that time? Drew Henson, the former baseball player for the Yankees and University of Michigan quarterback. This is a little fun little factoid. Started a game for a losing Cowboys team on Thanksgiving Day in 2004. And the only reason he started was because Bill Parcells was under pressure to put him in for a team that was losing. And his logic was, I'm going to put this guy in and I'm going to show the world that he can't play. So Drew goes out there, struggles against the Chicago Bears. Bill benches him at halftime. Vinny Testaverde comes back. Vinny had been the starter for the regular season. They puts in Vinny Testaverde, and he leads the Cowboys to a win. Drew Henson technically got the win. The next season, Bill gave up on his good buddy Vinny Testaverde, and he brought in Drew Bledsoe from Buffalo. And Drew, in his time as the starting quarterback for the Cowboys, was 12-10. Quincy, who should have been a pro quarterback for a much longer period of time, was 16-15 with the Cowboys. And the reason why that record was what it was is because in 2003, in his first year under Bill Parcells, he led the Cowboys to a 10-6 record and a first-round playoff loss at Carolina. And unfortunately, his life went sideways after that, and hopefully he's doing pretty good right now. But Quincy should have been an NFL quarterback for a long time, probably as a backup, but in the league. Vinny went 5-10. Chad Hutchinson went 2-10. You don't forget these records. You don't forget those games. You don't forget those statistics. You don't forget those plays. You don't forget those horrible sequences when you're running guy after guy after guy out there praying maybe one of them will click. And one of them did click. The only challenge was we couldn't conceive that the guy who was going to click was an undrafted player who was a former walk-on at a 1AA college at Eastern Illinois University. And the Cowboys started Tony Romo midway through the 2006 season under Bill Parcells. Jerry wasn't crazy about it because he figured the season's gone because we're starting this rookie quarterback. But when Bill made that decision, it was done. It was like, we're going to ride this out and see what he can do. And Tony was a gift from the heavens. He led the Cowboys to a 78-49 record in his long career with the team. And whatever you can say about him, he made them relevant. He could be a little bit maddening. He was exciting, but he was good. And near the end of his career, he was great. And you could have made a case that in the 14th season, he should have been the NFL's MVP, but he got beat out by Aaron Rodgers. Tony was really good. And unfortunately for him, when he got hurt, it opened the door for a 4th-round rookie draft pick from Mississippi State. Turned out to be Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has been really good. Really good. In fact, he was so good, he finished in the top 3 in NFL MVP voting last season. I'm sorry. For anybody who hates this guy, understand this. You're not finishing in the top 3 in the NFL's MVP voting if you suck. Dak Prescott is good. His problem is his problem, and it's a little bit like Tony Romo had. Tony Romo in his career, 78 and 49. It's pretty good, 78 and 49. Dak Prescott, 73 and 41. Hauntingly similar. Now, here's the challenge for Cowboys fans to buy in and be all in after they give Dak all this money. He's 2-5 in the playoffs. His first playoff game was against Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers, and he was terrible in the first half. I mean, bad. He looked like a rookie, got his ass kicked. Second half, tears it up, gives the Cowboys a chance. They tie the game, and only because Aaron Rodgers pulled a rabbit out of his head, the Packers won the game at the gun on a long field goal. So now let's go to 2018. Dak Prescott against a pretty good Seattle team, very good in a wild card win against the Seahawks. The next week against the Rams, a good Rams team, everybody's awful. Do not look at the statistics. When they needed Dak Prescott to be good, he was bad. And the Rams ran all over. There's two guys who are like 100 years old, both of whom ran for over 100 yards against the against the Cowboys in that divisional round playoff game at LA Coliseum. Rams go on to the Super Bowl, lose to the Patriots. So now let's go to 2021. Cowboys have a good team under Mike McCarthy. They host the San Francisco 49ers. They can't block the 49ers front four. Dak Prescott is terrible. They lose at home. Dak Prescott is bad. 2022, another good regular season. They go to Tampa Bay to play Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. And Dak Prescott kicks the living hell out of the Bucs and retires Tom Brady on a loss. Dak was great that day. The next week, they go to Santa Clara, California to play the 49ers again in a divisional round game. And the Cowboys defense gives Dak Prescott every chance to be in and win that game against Brock Purdy and the 49ers, and Dak can't do it. He has a horrible game. They lose 19-13. So now, to make matters worse, last season, Dak Prescott's awesome. He has a great regular season. Cowboys finished 12-5. They're going to host the Green Bay Packers in a wild card playoff game at AT&T Stadium, and Dak Prescott does the unthinkable. He goes out and has the worst playoff performance of his life, right along with his teammates. They can't stop anybody. He can't throw the ball to anybody. And by the time he accumulates stats, they're garbage numbers. Just like his garbage numbers against the Rams, just like his garbage numbers against the 49ers in 2021. Playoff opportunities are precious. And when you have the chance to make plays, you better make them. Because if not, you're going to be 2-5 and look god-awful in doing so. That 2-5 record cannot be undone until this coming postseason, in which hopefully he's given the opportunity to prove that he is better than this. But until that day comes, this is why the Cowboys are going to give him that monster contract. 73-41, and they remember 2000 and 2004. Quincy Carter, Chad Hutchinson, Vinny Testaverde, Anthony Wright, Ryan Leaf, Clint Sterner, and Drew Henson. Cowboy fans, deal with it. I'm sorry, but this guy's going to be your quarterback for a long time, and he's going to make a small fortune in the process because they don't want to go back to 2003, 2004, 2002, to any of that crap. They're not going back. So Dak Prescott, enjoy your stay with the Cowboys.